few months, and it's called Come On, Come On, and it's C apostrophe M-O-N, Come On, Come On. M-rated, 110 minutes. Remarkable, sensitive work about tapping into your feelings and thoughts. Joaquin Phoenix plays Johnny, who, along with a few colleagues, is making a radio documentary. And they're travelling between US cities, recording the views of children about the future as they see it, what's in store for them. Johnny and his sister Viv, played by Gabby Hoffman, fell out a year ago after the death of their mother. It was a very, very difficult time. Now, from a lonely hotel room in Detroit, Johnny picks up the phone and calls his sister in Los Angeles. And Viv is pleased to hear from him. She's now dealing with problems being experienced by her husband, Paul, portrayed by Scoot McNairy, who is struggling psychologically. The pair has a highly intelligent, inquisitive and boisterous 9-year-old son whose name is Jesse. Woody Norman plays Jesse. Paul's in another city and his condition is worsening. Viv asks Johnny, her brother, to stay with Jesse while she tries to help her husband. Johnny has no idea what he signed up for. Jesse is highly observant, creative and quirky, and can talk the leg off a chair when he wants to. He continually challenges Johnny with his incisiveness, often catching him out. Jesse's quite taken by Johnny's gun microphone, headphones and recording equipment, which the youngster starts using. With Viv still helping out Paul, work sees Johnny travel to New York and then New Orleans. And you guessed it, Jesse is in tow. Although they have fun together, looking after and out for Jesse is hardly straightforward. It was never going to be. Along the way, there's frustration, there's anger, and there's tears on both sides. It is shot, come on, in evocative black and white, with the thoughts of children being interviewed peppered liberally throughout. It is deeply touching, it has an emotional resonance, and there's relatable literary references also thrown into the mix for good measure. I thought that the performances were wonderfully natural and luminous, Jacqui.
Absolutely. What a stellar film. I was totally enraptured by this film from the first frame right through. I was totally engaged by this, and yet it's such a slim story. You know, it proves that you don't need to have violence and big stories to make things really connect with you and to express big things about the world and about people and about connections. And there were so many layers to this film that just kind of gently snuck in there along the relationships between each of them and the work with the radio going on, which brought the other children into it. And yet that never solved the film or anything like that. It was just a gentle aside going along with his life. And I just like Woody Norman, the boy. Woody Norman,
amazing. Wow.
Absolutely spectacular child actor. He's not new to film,
no.
But he's only 11 years old, and, he's British, and he came out with this American accent, and they said, where did you find this little American boy, And he was able to master that. I just was blown away by this film, really. It's going to stay with me for a long time.
I agree. That's a really good description. Peter, Phoenix is massively talented, and I thought that Hoffman was just extraordinarily expressive as well. And, each is brilliant in their own right, aren't they?
All three of them are excellent in their roles. This is such a beautifully observed film, and Mike Mills, who directed this film, has done such a great job. If I think one of his previous films, Beginners,
yes,
with Christopher Plummer and Ewan McGregor, about a father who comes out to his son. It's such an interesting way of looking at how families cope with challenges, and this is similarly observed in Come On, Come On. And this idea of Phoenix as the roving journalist trying to get to the essence of what is the future, the life that's going to happen in a very positive way by interviewing all these young people. I found such a great story because it is a much more uplifting look at the future of America, I think is what is probably intended. And it's interesting to look at Woody Norman's character too, because, yes, Jacqui pointed out very, very rightly, he's British, but the character that he plays is such a challenging one in itself. I sort of put him at the higher end of the spectrum, which meant that he would always be quite a difficult person to deal with in terms of socially connecting with people, and we see that in the film. Look, there's so much to admire in this film. The characterizations are beautifully realized, and it's a very humanistic and positive film. I was very impressed.
Yeah, I mean, I think it is without question one of those films that if you've never seen, and I really appeal to you, if you've never seen a black and white movie and you sort of say, I want to stay away and because it's black and white, this really could change your mind, because I thought the cinematography by Robbie Ryan, he did Sorry We Missed You, which was a very gritty film and a very good one. He was just breathtaking in the pictures that he took. Great use of light and shade, really well constructing, illuminating aerials as well, Greg. You've seen this one as well or not? Come on.
I haven't. No, I haven't yet.
Yeah, Jacqui, that's one thing that really struck me, that the black and white, it would...
And then it dissolves into colour for those few flashbacks. I think, was it the flashbacks that went into colour? There were a few of those when the Jesse and his dad are playing together on the floor.
I can't remember that. Peter, did you?
Yes, I think that was sort of like Super 8 footage.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I would just say, in regard to what Peter just mentioned about Jesse as the boy, I didn't find him a difficult child. I certainly would say he's bright and challenging. He's a smart kid and he's curious. And I think that those personality traits are not difficult. It's part of being that age and growing up and being curious about the world and this man, this uncle you've been thrown together with. And that's another point, that it's not a father and son thing. Like some of it, I could see flashbacks to Boyhood, the film with Ethan Hawke, and where that was filmed of a coming of age film. But this was being the father and the boy and the uncle was a really interesting relationship. But I don't think Jesse was going to be a difficult child. He was simply at that curious age.
But you've got to acknowledge that one of the things he said is he doesn't really have any friends, because you can imagine because there's the quirkiness to him, and I mean he imagines things, right? I mean kids have got imagination.
What kid doesn't?
No, but I don't think I do not see him as a normal 9-year-old. I think his intellect and so forth elevated him above an average 9-year-old. Peter, what did you think about that?
Absolutely right. That's why I thought he was at the higher end of the spectrum, because his social relationships were problematic. He found it difficult to read emotions sometimes and to understand other people, whereas the intellect is very strong and he would focus on particular things, such as the the stories that he was so interested in about the future and about the world, etc. So
he saw himself as an orphan. I mean, I think I could mention that he took on the guise of an orphan, talking to his mother, and at some point asked his uncle about that as well. Look, I was totally absorbed as well, Jacqui. I did not want to miss a word or a frame, and there's absolutely no question. I walked away from Come On, better off for having seen it. And we should mention, because it's a very unusual title, and I wondered, I was sitting through this, and where is that going to come from? It's 110 minutes, it's M-rated, and very close to the end, there are words uttered by Jesse that prompt the title. That's as I saw it anyway. I don't think there was any other reference to it, was there, Peter?
No, you're absolutely right. It happens near the end of the film.
So, look,
I heard the director saying that he didn't have any particular reason for calling it that.
Oh, got it. Okay. So, you have to draw a title. Mind you, in a sense, some movies' titles draw you in. I'm not sure that this one does. In fact, I almost think that it sort of downplays how good a film it is. And now, then it'd be a question of, well, what could you have called it? Would you have given it the name of the child or something of that nature? Well, that's ultimately up to the director, I dare say, in terms of putting a film together. Let's give a score out of 10. Let's start with you, Peter.
I could have called it a love letter to America, actually, in the way it explores a number of issues about the future and how things can move forward after, symbolically, a pandemic. Anyway, look, I really enjoyed the film very much, 9 out of 10.
Yeah, not at all surprising. Jacqui, I suspect you might even go higher than that.
Well, for me, the big difference in this film and others that we talk about so regularly, or you boys do and I watch, is its originality. I haven't seen a film quite like this, and I'll always mark it up higher for the bravery of doing that for a director like that to bring this story to the screen. And I'm definitely giving it 9 out of 10 as well.
And I'm giving it an 8.5 out of 10. So, folks, do not miss it. Come on. And it is well...
It is still at Nova, actually, Alex. It's at Nova and Thornbury and the Sun Theatre in Yarraville, just to let people know.
Lovely. So,
an opportunity to see it.
Any other Palace cinemas that it's in? I haven't checked this morning, so I'm not sure. But, check it out yourselves. Just put it into your search engine. We'll go into flicks.com.au and you'll be able to find, I dare say, a session.